This is the tale thus far. In the beginning, death sought the Crowfather, but what he found was something more. A secret once forgotten, a path to another world.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bearded Kai, and we are returning for the second episode of Darksiders 2. In this episode, unfortunately, we are in Drench. I think that's how you say it. The recording I had for the Cauldron didn't record for some reason, so we don't have the first actual dungeon. I will go back and get it in New Game Plus. So unfortunately, to see that part, we will have to wait for New Game Plus. I didn't feel like starting the game over to grab the Cauldron footage because I liked where I was with weapons and everything in the beginning of the game. So that does suck, but it does happen sometimes, you know, recording software, whether it be on the PlayStation, which is what I use. I don't have a PC anymore, so I can't record through a PC. So, unfortunately, the software for PlayStation, for whatever reason, didn't get the footage. But that being said, we will get it later. We're gonna press on with the next set of missions here. That being said, there is a side quest that you can do with each one of these steps in the main story for Karn, which is finding his gear, his helmet, his emblem, his compass. I think there's probably one other thing. I don't remember. That being said, I did mess it up. I passed his helmet, so I didn't actually get to complete the quest. But this isn't a 100% run. This is just playing through the story, and just basically showing the story and how I play it and how I build death.
The fire of the mountain flows again.
Yes, freed by my hand. And calm.
Karn? That pup? He hasn't a clue. And yet, the forge burns once more. You know what awaits you, Ryder. To finish this, you must restore the tears.
I'm not your errand boy, Maker.
Aye, but our fates are now yoked. Help us, and we will help you. In the meantime, take this. It might be of use.
So here we get redemption.
This pistol. It belongs to my brother, Strife. How came it here?
I cannot say, but there are other goods you may barter for now as well. Restore the tears, then return to me. Browse around. We have new items.
Redemption is probably one of my favorite features of this game. And I know that sounds like ridiculous. It's just a revolver pistol. But the thing about that revolver pistol is in the middle of battle, you can use it to kind of build up your wrath at a safe distance. And that does come in handy. Especially for the type of build I'm using, and I don't have all the armor I want to get the wrath return that I actually need for this build to work the way I think it's going to. One thing you'll notice is I keep hitting the touchpad to try to go into this menu. And the weird thing about this game is you would think the touchpad would pull up this menu, but it doesn't. It pauses the game. Versus the options button that normally would pause a game, it brings up your menu for your skill points. It's so weird. We've got two abilities so far in this video. We have the teleporting slash and the necromancy ability to summon ghouls. And the ghouls do come in handy. About here, we're gonna go get started on our next mission. I think I go talk to, yeah, I go up here, talk to the sage. She comes in handy. Again, I haven't played much of this game, so I wasn't sure, because I've got the side quest for her, I wasn't sure if I need to turn the items in one by one. You don't. Once you get all, once you get all of the items, she'll make the amulet for you, or talisman. I wish there was a way that I could replay the mission for Cauldron without having to go in a New Game Plus or start a new game. If there is a way, someone let me know, but I don't think there is. And here I was just messing around a little bit. We do get going, I promise. I kind of want to keep these videos within half an hour to 40 minutes. I don't want them too long. That being said, I have failed epically with some of these videos. They will get a little long, and I do apologize. I know a lot of people don't like to sit around and watch, you know, 45 to an hour long video. Like I said, it's just hard to find a good spot to stop in Darksiders for a video. Like, you can't just not continue. I try to find a good stopping point where we've accomplished a bit, but at the same time, I like to try to complete as much as possible before I have to stop the video. Like I said, I do use PlayStation to record my gameplays, and then I use the Share Factory to edit. And I absolutely love the Share Factory. It helps out a lot. It gives you the opportunity to make content, and quality content at that, without having to have a computer and a capture card and all this and that. I used to have all that equipment, but unfortunately some crap happened and I don't have that anymore. But this gives me the option until I get that equipment back to be able to still make content. I feel like I would be a lot further, or not a lot further, but a lot.
We tried to seal in the corruption, but no good came of it.
I would be better off if I had
tears
explored more in this game.
The Drench fort lies just beyond this barrier. It was the first thing taken by corruption. We sealed the Stonefather's tears inside, fearing what would happen if they spread.
If I do as Alia asks, you'll soon find out.
Aye, and the realm will be better for it. Whether pure as rain or black as sin, the tears will end this stalemate.
It's odd how I often find you standing.
Without the Tree of Life Horseman, I'm trapped here just like you. A fortunate few slipped out before the tree was lost, like Ulthane.
And who is Ulthane?
He's just another maker. Has a big hammer is all. When he escaped, I feared to follow. And a good thing, too.
And why is that?
Well, you might still be looking for the cauldron if not for my courage and wit. If you're really going, don't let me stop you. Exploring's a wondrous thing. You never know what you might find. For instance, should a bit of armor turn up, it's likely some I misplaced some years back. If you can find it, I'll be in your debt.
So that's Karn that I was talking about a little while ago. He wants you to find pieces of his equipment that he's lost. Like I said, I missed a piece of the equipment, unfortunately, so I don't know what the reward is for finding all of his stuff. And if I remember right, I think I also forgot to give him a piece of equipment as well, so I kind of botched that quest altogether, but it's just a side quest. It's nothing I can't do in New Game Plus later on. So if you do miss something and you're trying for the trophies, there is a New Game Plus, from what I've read anyway. And you'll be able to go back and get stuff that you've missed. And here I'm just trying to kill some mobs, get some experience. Leveling up is important in this game. If you rush too much and skip a bunch of stuff, then you are going to be severely under-leveled later on. Which is probably why I've had a bit of trouble in certain spots. Because I did go through this kind of quick. A lesson learned in a Darksiders game, do side quests. There wasn't really much for side quests, I don't believe, in the first one. The first one was very set path, where this one is a lot more open world. I don't know about the third one, with how open world that is. I did say that I hadn't played the third one, which wasn't true. I reinstalled it and was looking at the trophies. Apparently, I did play it a little bit last year. I killed the first of the 7 deadly sins, apparently, because I have the trophy for it. But for whatever reason, I didn't continue it. I have gotten a new system since then, so that may have been why. I had my PS4 that I had for like 4 years died out on me. So I had to go get a new system. Wish it was the PS5, but we know how well they decided to stock for PS5s and nobody can seem to get their hands on them, which bugs me. I still don't quite understand what the point of this wall here was. I was just sitting here shooting these blow up things, and then all of a sudden a bunch of these things started showing up. So I don't know if I pissed off a nest or what was going on here, but I mean, not that I'm gonna complain. It's experience, and experience is always good. With these things though, I find that just shooting them, not these, not the prowlers, but the stingers, just shoot them. It's so much simpler than trying to hit them with your blades or fists or your axes. Although I think maybe an axe or a glaive, where it's got the wider sweep, might work on them, but definitely for sure it is hard to hit them with the scythes. And then, oh yes, I fell off the edge because I was locked onto that one that I launched across. And I walked off the edge. And here we're in the forge. Getting closer to where we need to be. This world is so massive. I love the open world of it. I like the fact that you're not on a set path. I mean, you have your main story, just like any other game, but you don't necessarily have to go straight to that main story. There are things for you to explore, and all kinds of different creatures for you to kill. Doing what Death does best, I guess. That is one thing, though, speaking of death, that kind of confused me a bit, is everybody treats death like he's a reaper, but a reaper and the horseman death were different. In any lore that you look at, the horseman death commands the reapers. The reapers work for death. He's not a reaper himself. Granted, I'm sure he, you know, could just reap anything he wanted if he wanted to, but he's more of what causes death, not the reaper himself. He doesn't reap souls, but I guess in this game he does. Because he killed all of his, you know, all of his brethren, Nephilims, and trapped their souls in that talisman. I'm not sure how to reach that because I couldn't get up high enough for that. And actually, now that I look at it, I know exactly what I need to get there. Which is funny. That is the one thing about recording a bunch of game footage and then doing voices. You know, my voice afterwards is I know things now that I didn't know at this time. So now I'm just sitting here like, oh, okay, I know exactly what I need to do here. I need to go back at some point. Which, there's a few places I need to go back to, and I don't think I'm going to end up recording them because I don't want to draw out this series any longer than it needs to be. I just want to give you guys a good viewing of the story, some side missions as I find them and as I complete them, because I'm not gonna go like extremely out of my way. I'm gonna try to just show you how to complete each dungeon, learn along the way, and if I find stuff along the way, then great. If not, it's not a big deal. I'm not a perfectionist. I've never actually done like 100% run of any game in my life, I don't think. There are people that do, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to go through and find everything, great. I personally, trying to do that, get way too bored. So I just like to play the missions, play the story. I am gonna do a an endgame Crucible build that I definitely want to show off, so there will be a video for that later on. I think I'm pretty well set up to do the build I have in mind. I just need to find gear of a higher level for what I need. The Crucible is a very big pain in the butt, but it is great for grinding gear, from what I've heard. I haven't actually been able to do much of it. I went and checked out the Crucible and only got like to wave 4, I think, before I got killed. And for those that don't know what the Crucible is, it is a DLC. It's just an arena. It's got 100 levels, and it's got some great gear that you can get out of it. here we start to see more of the puzzle aspect of this game. One thing that is always kind of a pain though is camera angles. Trying to get your camera to angle just right so you can see what you're doing can be a bit of a pain sometimes. And right there, I'm not sure I actually got this where I needed to, so I threw a second one just to make sure. Now these little orbs here, I'm not sure what exactly they were called, but they are all through this game in different spots, different ways to get them, to open doors and bridges and all kinds of different things. There are so many puzzle mechanics in this game. It will drive you nuts. It'll absolutely drive you nuts. There have been a couple puzzles that we will see later that I was stuck on for, oh god, must have been at least 15-20 minutes. Some of them you have to really think outside of the box, like you wouldn't think that that's how it would work, and you end up overthinking it, but it was actually something really simplistic and just a little out of the box. I was trying to figure out how to get back up the stairs, but I think I end up going all the way around. Which is fine, because we find some more enemies, more experience. Definitely need to level up. And a potion. Potions are always good, and I would think that they would drop a lot more often than they actually do. Oh, I have a skill point. Make sure to spend your skill points as soon as you get them. Because that little bit of edge that you get from a new ability or powering up an ability that you already have can mean the difference between winning a battle or getting your ass handed to you. Most definitely, if you're saving up skill points, you really should have spent them. That's just my opinion. To each their own. But my opinion definitely is that you should spend them as soon as you get them. I don't mean like, oh, I'm in the middle of combat, let me spend the skill point real quick. If you get a skill point in the middle of combat, that's whatever. But as soon as you have a moment, definitely level up death. Now, this room plays in a little bit later, but I can't remember, was there a box or something down here? No. Okay. This room comes into play a little bit later, which we will see in this video, I think. Might be the next one. But this particular dungeon can be very confusing, and you can get lost pretty easily. That being said, I would definitely suggest trying to remember which door you came out of, because a lot of times you're going to have to backtrack. And that's where I usually end up getting lost, is having to backtrack my way. Also, dodging seems to go a little bit faster than running half the time. I really would think Death's running speed would be a little bit faster, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just sometimes when you get these long walkways, it gets a bit tedious. So as you can see, and I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed back when we were in the courtyard back there are hands on the statue, and there are these, like, oh my god, what would you call them? They're not tubes, because, you know, tubes are completely closed off, but there are these pathways that are leading to each hand. So when I got in here, I noticed that there are like, oh my god, I know what these are called and I can't remember. I hate when that happens. But there are these pathways that should have water going through them, but don't. Or very little water. Canal, there we go. Jesus, if I could brain. So there are these canals with, and these, you know, big gates that are holding the water back. So, and that is pretty much the whole point of this dungeon. This blade is pretty nice. I'm not exactly a fan of slower weapons, which I think I've stated before. But early on in the game, pretty much put on anything that does more damage. You're gonna want the damage over, you know, different stats. Now, I'm guilty of not trading out a weapon because I don't want to give up stats. But you definitely want to consider putting on whatever is strongest. At least early on. The first 2 or 3 dungeons, just worry about your damage and your resistance and your armor. Later on, you can start. I mean, and this is just a suggestion. I don't tell anybody how to play their games. You bought it. Play it any way you want. But my suggestion is later on, worry about like your crit damage and your crit chance and all of that stuff. Because great, you find a piece of armor that's got great stats, great crit, and great damage. You know, that's great. But the problem with that is that you're going to find something of a higher tier that might not necessarily have those stats, and you're going to want to replace them. So my suggestion definitely is just put on whatever's got better armor and damage and whatnot. And here, I struggle a little bit to get the timing down on the wall run. Like, you're running a wall, and then you have to jump. Like, the wall comes to a corner, you have to jump to the next wall. And I struggle a little bit with that. And then trying to figure out how the hell to get out of this stupid water. And I think I messed this one up. Oh, no, I didn't. I did this one. Okay. I thought maybe I messed that one up, but apparently not. And here we go with the rolly balls again. These things are a bit of a pain to control, I'm not gonna lie. And once again, this game is full of puzzles. So you kind of have to think, because here, you need 2 of these spears. Spheres, not spears. But anyway, but I've got spiky spears blocking the way for the one that's over here. Oh, yes, keep your eye out for these little talisman things, because you can get some nice things out of the merchant that I can't remember his name. It begins with a V. Volcom? Yeah, I think it's Volcom. He does sell you some nice things with those. And one of the things is a respec, so you can respec your talent points. See, and this is what I'm talking about with puzzles, is trying to figure out what you do with each item in a puzzle. And this is, I think, if I remember, this is also a great example of overthinking puzzles. So, if I remember, I think this does end up working out, but also later on, I could have destroyed those as well. I didn't necessarily have to throw that there, but if you can get the angle, which is a little bit of a pain, as you can see, then you might as well. But there is another thing that you do need those little explosive things for. And I don't think the game really explains it too much to you. But if you get one of those exploding balls, you can put it on the sphere. I keep saying spear. I don't know why. My brain is broke today, apparently. You can put it on the sphere and shoot it, and it will move. So here, I need to stand on this and shoot the explosive ball and make the sphere move. Now, what would have been nice is if it rolled all the way to its frickin' spot and just sat there. So I didn't have to sit here and move the stupid thing, but I guess I didn't have the right angle. I came close, though. And voila, another puzzle solved. Also, and I'm sure I've probably said this too, make sure to break everything around. You get gold out of most every box. Sometimes you'll get equipment. Sometimes you'll find some of those little diamond tome things for Vulcan. And you get potions occasionally. So if you're running low on potions, it's a great way to get new potions. So the glaive does work a little bit better on these, but not quite. Your ghouls are very handy for keeping those stingers busy so you can deal with the nest. Because they will just keep spawning and spawning until you get that nest dealt with. Unfortunately. And they don't yield a bunch of experience, so you can't exactly sit there and farm them for experience. You'd be sitting there forever. I thought about that, but after looking at the experience bar for each kill, you'd be sitting there for like 2 hours just to get one level. And no, actually I was wrong. You do need to blow up those corruption crystals from down there. I don't think there is a... Oh no, there is. So I was right, actually. I didn't have to blow those up from down there. But I did. And hey, like I said, whatever works, there is definitely many different ways to solve a puzzle. Not necessarily one set way. I think there was a box or something that I was trying to get to that I had seen. Yeah, I can see it on the map, but I can't get up there. Which is not a big deal. Like I said, I'm not doing a 100% find everything, find every chest run. I'm sure there's a bunch of things that I've missed. I'm sure somebody will watch this and be like, oh hey, you missed this and you missed that. Which is whatever. I mean, if I did miss something, definitely say something, point it out. And when I go through New Game Plus, I will try to remember to grab it. But I'm not like real concerned with getting 100% of the trophies on this game. Especially considering to do so, one of those you have to beat the game on its hardest difficulty. I'm not sure I want to go through this game on its hardest difficulty. This game is pretty challenging on its own. Even I think I'm either on normal or the second hardest difficulty. I don't remember. And as you can see, solving those puzzles and getting the water flowing on one side has opened up new pathways.
Go.
Dust is usually helpful on where you have to go. Sometimes he is not, but most of the time he's helpful. You can activate him by holding L3, I think it is, on PlayStation. The left stick. Xbox, it'll be left stick. PC, not a clue. So if you're playing on PC, I can't help you because I don't know the controls. I've never been much of a PC gamer. I like playing MMOs on PC, but I can never play like a shooter or a hack and slash with mouse and keyboard. I don't know why. It's just a preference thing. I've always got to use a controller for stuff like that. But that being said, to each their own. There's nothing wrong with mouse and keyboard, if that's what you like to use. I'm not getting into a console war. My belief is you prefer what you grew up on. I grew up on console mostly, so that's what I prefer. I don't remember where I was going here. Oh, that's right. I had to go around, I think. I went for the box because I had an E-shiny moment. I have a lot of those. So don't mind if it looks like I'm getting sidetracked or going off path, because if I see something, then yeah, I'm going to try to go grab it. Sorry if I keep just getting some dead air here. I've got a tickle in my throat, and I don't want to like clear my throat in the microphone or gulping water in the microphone while I'm trying to record for you guys. One thing that does happen quite frequently in this game is ambushes. Enemies will pop up out of absolutely freaking nowhere, and then all of a sudden you're being attacked and hit in the back. So always be vigilant. I feel like they hide in the corners and in the shadows, and then they're just like, oh hey, he's not paying attention, let's try to kill him. Or they do something like this, the giant stalker that pops up out of nowhere. And these stalkers can be a bit of a pain in the butt, and they hit really hard. That being said, the ghouls, even if you're not running an arcane build, the ghouls are definitely useful with just chew. Well, actually, I think you have to get 3 skills in necromancy, which is the summon ghouls, the one that gives them the fire attack, I do believe, and then that will unlock the one right next to it, which makes it so enemies are more likely to target your ghouls instead of you. It is a great distraction. So this is a prime example of equipping stuff that's got better damage, because I think the scythes I had on were had either frost or something on them, but that one had a better base damage, so I went with the better base damage. I lose the frost damage, but the frost damage was only a couple points. I'd rather just have the pure raw damage at that point, at least early on anyway, because the enemies don't have a whole lot of resistance to physical damage. So you don't need the added, like, frost and stuff right away. It is nice to have still. But if something outclasses the item, then it outclasses the item and it's not a big deal. So right here we have a closed door that you can't get through. And the only, like, viable path that I can see. But I did notice these when I was jumping around, which, if I remember right, probably brought me around to a box, which I don't know why I jumped down. Maybe I thought I saw something. Oh, I did see something else, but it was, yeah, the page of the dead. But in retrospect, there is a box that I don't think I go after here, which is up the same pathway. Or maybe I do, I don't remember. Ah, there it is. That was the box I was talking about. So it wasn't up the same pathway. I don't know if there's anything along that ledge or not, but if I spent the time searching every nook and cranny, each video would be an hour long, and I'd never get any progression in the game. And there is the key for the giant locked door. The one that's got the chains and the skull on the front of it. Almost every dungeon has at least one of those doors, if not two, that I've come across so far. I can't vouch for all of them because I haven't done them all yet. But everyone I've come across so far has at least one of those doors, if not more. So, there's the next part of the dungeon, and right here is where I call it. I would like to thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment. I'd love feedback. Subscribe. It helps me out, lets me know that you guys are enjoying the video. I hope you all stay safe. Have a great day. We'll catch you in the next one.